From the Steel City, a big matchup tonight in the Atlantic Division of the USL Championship. Looking forward to this one in Pittsburgh. Russell Cicerone leads the Riverhounds into this one with a chance to clinch a spot in the USL Championship playoffs. But Sebastian Guenzati is 19 goals, and the Atlantic Division champions will look to slow them down. It's the Riverhounds and the Rowdies, and it's next. From Highmark Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, you better buckle up because we've got a blockbuster matchup tonight in the Atlantic Division as the Riverhounds host the Rowdies. Two of the beasts of the East meet in the Steel City. Sean St. Jacques, Devin Kerr alongside for this one. Let's take a look at the Atlantic Division table to see what this one means. The Rowdies have clinched the Atlantic Division title. They're close to clinching the #1 overall seed in the East as well. Pittsburgh can win tonight and clinch a playoff spot as well after Miami and Charlotte failed to clinch spots earlier today. And Devin, Tampa is going to be compared to these previous top seeds from the Eastern Conference as how they finish this season and in the playoffs as well.
They can almost shut the door on Louisville City, the only team in the Eastern Conference that can catch them for that #1 seed. And how have those seeds fared? Well, Red Bull 2 and Lou City, historic teams that were able to take them the title. Bob Lilly's 2015 Rochester Rhinos, another record-breaking team in terms of shutouts, 17 out of 28 games. That is a ridiculous number. They took down the overall title. Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Lou City has not been so kind. The Tampa Bay Rowdies think big picture. They're thinking #1 seed. They're thinking title and not repeating recent history.
Season series between the Riverhounds and the Rowdies. Rowdies ripped Pittsburgh apart, Devin, on opening night. But since then, Bob Lilly's side has had the upper hand.
That stretch early June to mid to late August for Pittsburgh was a great one. It was a time where tactically they were getting things right. They found a way to really get all their guys going forward and involved in the game. And when you get into a series where it's so even, Sean, you need someone to lean on. Alex Dixon. It's got to be Alex Dixon. The season that he's having, 9 goals, 8 assists, an opportunity to jump into that coveted double-double club, double-digit goals, double-digit assists. Only about 10 guys in USL Championship history have had the opportunity to do that. Alex Dixon is right there.
Could be the first Pittsburgh player ever to do it. He's very, very close. He's in a very deep midfield tonight as well for Bob Lilly's side, with Williamson leading the line.
Only change Danny Rivera to the bench. Preston Kilwine comes onto the back line, and what is going to be a start of a 4-1-4-1. Pittsburgh Riverhounds, Bob Lilly, what they throw at you. You know there's going to be rotation within the midfield. Cicerone will come to the interior. They'll rotate high on the left. They'll drop in on the right, drop into 3. Dixon will share the load. But as they step forward, they're going to meet one of the best back lines in the entire USL Championship. Guillen, Lasso, Scarlett, and your shutout leader, Evan Laura, who can still break the single season record down the stretch here. The changes come in the form of Ekra, Steinberger, Dos Santos. You've got your point man up top. And Dos Santos, you've got Energy and Juan Tejada. And Steinberger's going to control the pocket on the inside. They are going to have to go full 90 tonight to get a point at Highmark.
Pittsburgh can clinch a playoff spot with a win. The Rowdies are chasing down the #1 seed in the league. It's the Rowdies and the Riverhounds, and it's next.
Before, you weren't able to walk very far.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I couldn't even get out of bed sometimes.
How are you walking now?
I'm walking 6 miles a day.
Awesome.
Getting control back is living proof. The AHN Neuroscience Institute.
Just in time for the start of the 2021 season, we're offering Riverhounds Mini Flex Plans. Flex Plans are 6 vouchers to use any way you want over the 2021 season to catch the Hounds in action. Use them all for one game or spread them out through the season. With 3 different plans starting at $90, you can choose anywhere in Highmark Stadium to cheer on the Hounds. Visit riverhounds.com or call 412-865-GOAL.
I can't believe we're doing this.
Gus, you're not scared, are you?
I don't like thunder. Hope there are no monsters.
Did you say monster?
Ooh, monster money. The new scratch-off from the Pennsylvania lottery.
Yeah, with top prizes of 13 grand.
That's a monster of a prize. Keep on scratching.
October is here, and so is the push to the playoffs for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. With tickets starting at just $18, you can cheer on the Hounds as they battle for home field advantage in the playoffs. The Riverhounds go head-to-head with the Charleston Battery, October 23rd in a 7 p.m. Saturday night showdown. Visit riverhounds.com or talk to a ticket representative at 412-865-GOAL.
Good crowd on hand tonight in the Steel City. Sean St. Jacques, Devin Kerr on hand for this one. The Riverhounds, their objective tonight is simple. If they win, they're in to the playoffs for 2021. The Rowdies have won the Atlantic Division after results went their way earlier tonight, but they still have their eyes set on the #1 seed in the East and the #1 overall seed in the USL Championship playoffs. A lot on the line. Pittsburgh in their home black and yellows kick us off from Highmark Stadium, and the 4th of 4 between these two is underway. Mentioned it in the open. Tampa has never won here at Highmark Stadium. They did win at home against the Riverhounds on opening night by 3-0. It was a 0-0 here the last time these two met. Of course, the second of those 3 was a memorable Pittsburgh win in Tampa earlier this season. That makes this the rubber meeting between these two, and of course it means a lot for Pittsburgh. They could become the 2nd team in the Atlantic to clinch a playoff spot. Miami losing to Loudoun earlier today, and then of course Charleston beating Hartford kept the champagne on ice for Paul Dalglish's side. And of course Charlotte, who won last night, needed a draw from Charlotte and Hartford. They almost got it, to be fair. Hartford nearly came from 4-1 down to get a point, but alas, they still wait to clinch as well.
Bet you didn't have that Miami Loudoun game in your 3-team parlay, did you?
No, I couldn't bet. I was calling the game.
Everybody kind of looked around and went, wait, red card and the lead, and they still lost.
Oh, that was a wild game, no question about it. But give Loudoun credit for pulling that one out. They were so behind it at times in that first half. Their backs were against the wall, but Ryan Martin's side showed a lot of heart in that second half. And of course, Paco Craig getting sent off could really hurt Miami. Of course, they play Pittsburgh next.
And then they play the Rowdies.
Yeah.
So what does that suspension time look like? The implications there could be massive for Paul Dalglish, who at the other center back spot on the right side, there has been a bit of rotation. Kellen Chapman-Page in and out there. You know, Paco Craig, but more importantly, you know, they're not going to worry about that right now if you're Pittsburgh or you're the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Yeah. All they're thinking about right now is next 90 minutes. There's too many scenarios for them, and Tampa Bay Rowdies have always been very good, home or away, removing all the noise. Remember last year, everybody talked about going into the playoffs, the matchup for them in the Eastern Conference Final at Lynn Family Stadium. Louisville unbeaten in those scenarios. Guess what? They were dethroned. And since then, the Tampa Bay Rowdies have reigned supreme in the Eastern Conference. Now they're looking to take the next step and grab the #1 overall seed in the USL Championship.
Neil Collins' side has won 9 in a row. Top 4 ever winning streak in the USL Championship, and they've been unbeaten in their last 12 games overall. And Neil Collins just talked about the mentality that his team has had, staying healthy, which has been crucial as well, but also just the consistency that he's been able to get out of his boys has just been remarkable this season. And of course, the last time the Rowdies lost, you got to go all the way back to July 31st. You were all probably having cookouts in the backyard. They lost 2-0 to Charlotte on the road.
That's got to be the biggest takeaway for me. Is it's not just the streak, it's the manner in which they've done it, because we've seen some teams go on unbeaten runs, but the winning streak itself, Phoenix Rising, of course, in 2019, going 20 games in a row. After about 7 or 8, they just found ways to win. It wasn't pretty. Tampa Bay Rowdies are the exact opposite. They're getting better and more impressive throughout these performances. They are blowing teams off the field. What Neil Collins is looking for now is just to continue that momentum going forward. Grab the one, make everybody understand that in order to have any chance whatsoever, you're going to have to come someplace special, Al Lang, and knock us off. Bit of work to be done before that, though.
Of course, Pittsburgh last time out lost in Miami. They had a 2-1 lead in the latter stages, but Miami scored twice in the final minutes to pull out a 3-2 victory, although, of course, the roles were reversed in Virginia today when Miami blew a 2-1 lead against Loudoun. So it's just that kind of a year in the USL Championship. Anything can happen. Pittsburgh on the attack here. Alex Dixon, great hesitation into the penalty area. Forbes with a good ball across, and Tampa just do enough to get a touch and clear their lines. I mentioned it, Alex Dixon, 9 goals, 8 assists this season. And he could be the first double-double man in Pittsburgh Riverhounds history. Coming off a really good season from a Hartford team that made the playoffs for the first time in their history a season ago. And now he's been a really big piece to what Bob Lilly has built this season with this Riverhounds side, in the midfield specifically.
One of the great things about this Pittsburgh Riverhounds team, Sean, is on the offensive side of the ball. Everybody thinks Bob Lilly, defensive standouts, shutouts, and their ability to break teams down on the defensive side of the ball. But offensively, don't sleep on this team. This is still one of the best offensive squads in the entire USL Championship. They bagged themselves 47 goals, and for good reason. I would say the same argument for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. You look at Aaron Guillen, Forrest Lasso, Jordan Scarra, Evan Laurel. They've got 48 goals to their name, which is 4th in the league. These teams, they can do it in transition. They can put the ball on the deck. And going back to the Riverhounds, the evolution of what this team looks like compared to previous seasons. They don't sit as deep. They've opened it up a bit more. They've got more offensive weapons, and it shows. The question for them is going to be whether in this game or as they continue forth and go on a playoff run, can they give themselves proper balance over a full 90 minutes? We haven't seen that in quite some time.
I think Forrest Lasso lost his headband in that last sequence, but play continues. Bit of a collision between Lasso and Dixon. As those two stars exchange pleasantries.
All right, Alex Dixon. He hasn't missed bench day, has he?
Don't think so.
I mean, that's an immovable object up against an immovable force, or the other way around, one of the two. There's not many people that get the better of Forrest Lasso in that scenario.
I think Forrest Lasso might have been taken aback by how hard Dixon ran into him there. Tampa Bay clear it. Only as far as Danny Griffin. By the way, Danny Griffin still has started every game this season for Bob Lilly's team, and he's only sat out 13 minutes of Pittsburgh's entire season. That just shows you how vital he is to what the Riverhounds like to do. Talk about first name on the team sheet.
It's everybody in front of him that have allowed him to continue to be such a vital piece to this team. And I'm not taking anything away from his performances. He is the glue that holds everything together. But the way that they entrust him with so much responsibility because of the guys in front, there's proper coverage in both areas. So tonight, he's got the back four behind him. And, you know, Canardo Forbes just took a real high step. Todd Wharton slides over. Alex Dixon tucks into the interior. So from a midfielder standpoint, you've still got the ability to help play out. That's the balance you look at when you get the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, especially at home. There's such a great understanding for all of these guys within this system.
Chance here for the Riverhounds. Good ball across, and it's blasted over the top by Todd Wharton. Really good chance. It was started by Williamson, and Pittsburgh comes close.
As the season has gone on, we've started to get better glimpses as to why San Jose drafted him as a top 15 pick, 12th overall in the 2021 MLS draft, coming out of Cal. And this is why. It's that quick explosion of speed just inside the top of the box. Great stretch here by Shane Wheat. That diagonal ball down into the corner. Those spaces, the pockets between Lasso, Guillen, Scarlett, and Lasso. Lasso has a tendency to slide left a little bit. So when he starts to pinch back to the right, push that thing through, put it on the deck, Use the speed to your advantage and find the trailing runs in the box.
Evan Lauro clears his lines. Well, Highmark's one of the best venues, especially when it's full or close to it like it is tonight. They know how big of a game this is for their Riverhounds. And a draw would not be enough, considering that Pittsburgh and Charleston still have to play one more time this season, so that tiebreaker is still actually up for grabs. But a win would do it. If Pittsburgh gets 3 points, they are in to the USL Championship playoffs. It looks like we might have a problem with the ball itself here. We apologize for the cursing there that was picked up by our crowd mics. Apologize for that. But Neil Collins expressing his problem, or I should say his issue, with the fact I think that the ball is not ready for play. And we apologize for that being picked up.
I didn't realize Neil was fluent in another language, did you?
Not until just now.
I mean, obviously speaks Scottish. Neil Collins, the head coach of the Tampa Bay Rowdies, providing some commentary for...
And some color.
And some color to it, absolutely.
Yeah. We had a great conversation with him earlier this week, and just sounds so proud of his team, what they've been able to go through this season, like everybody has, with not only COVID still being a factor, but injuries and things like that. And that was one of the reasons you could argue they lost to Charlotte the last time they dropped all 3 points. They weren't at full strength. Charlotte took full advantage of it. So you see they're back on July 31st, and since then they've gotten healthier, and like you said, Devin, earlier, they've gotten better as the season's gone on. That's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, my biggest argument for this team the entire season has been what they've been able to do without all of the pieces, right? But as the components have started to come back, you get an idea of what the masterminds behind the season were trying to do at the start of this year. Stuart Dobson, Kevin Foley, throw Chad Bird into it. And of course, their frontman, Neil Collins. They had a plan. And they had a plan that included a lot more firepower than previous seasons. Added guys like Steven Dos Santos, retained players, youngsters, Juan Tejada, Leo Fernandez on the outside, and then some wild cards. You bring in a guy like Lawrence White, who bounced in and out of the midfield with Atlanta United. You grab someone like Luis Fernando. Still hasn't made his debut with the Tampa Bay Rowdies, but once you start to get all those pieces back, they've continuously taken steps, and that's a true testament, because one of the most difficult things, and Neil Collins said this to us, I asked him, what has it been like maintaining the momentum that you've had, added extra players, and then trying to implement new ideas when that chemistry is at a high level? And he said, that's the question that every coach tries to answer, right? That's the hardest thing that you have to do as a manager, because you're managing goodness in front of you, but you're looking for greatness down the road. That's where the Tampa Bay Rowdies are heading right now. They're heading as one of the all-time USL Championship greats if they can stay on this course.
Part of the motivation that's led to that success, and Coach Collins told us this as well, was the fact that obviously Tampa didn't get to play in the championship game last season. Phoenix didn't either, of course. They won the East. They upset Lou City at Lou City. They got to the final, but they didn't get the chance to meet up with Phoenix Rising. And I think Rick Schantz mentioned it earlier this year as well. It's just that's part of the motivation to get back there, to get the chance back that they lost because of COVID. And maybe to no one's surprise, those are your top two right now in point totals this season. Alex Dixon on the attack for Pittsburgh. He let a shot fly, and it's going to go out for a goal kick.
These are little stretches you get if you can find Alex Dixon in transition. The good news is excellent recovery by Aaron Gann. He had actually slid over into the middle, forced lasso. I mentioned he's got this tendency to tuck left a little bit. That's no secret. But as he steps up and takes on guys like Tommy Williamson, or with Kenardo Forbes or Russell Cicerone come a bit higher on the inside, they're going to need that presence defensively. But when lasso goes, where does the coverage come from? Aaron Gann, he had already answered that question, and then comes back over to win the 1v1 challenge against Alex Dixon.
Tampa able to regain possession. Lewis Hilton picks it up. All the way back for Jordan Scarlett initially and again. Poor touch there by Dos Santos, formerly of Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Cicerone trying to find Canardo Forbes down that far sideline. He did, but Tampa Bay win it off of him, get possession back. Hilton picks it up. Bob Lilly made a point to us about Canardo Forbes and how he's been more further up the field, more involved in, of course, he's great at assisting. He's the all-time assist leader in USL Championship history, but also scoring goals. He had a brace, of course, against Miami, and that's been a part of his game that Bob Lilly said has been nice to see grow a little bit more. They've been encouraging him to do that the last few games and really the last season and a half. And he's starting to do that more and more, and it makes Pittsburgh that much more dangerous.
It's really difficult to track the runners from the Pittsburgh Riverhounds because of all of that rotation, and with it can come some growing pains, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Those pains are apparent right now for Steven Dos Santos with the challenge coming up over the top, which was super unnecessary. They had the coverage there. But as Forbes steps up, Todd Wharton comes to the inside. Russell Cicerone almost creates a diamond as Alex Dixon drops deeper. Tommy Williamson will remain the focal point up top, much like you get out of Steven Dos Santos. But right now, where does the next step come from? Specifically for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, Juan Tejada, Steinberger trying to find their way into this match.
Leo Fernandez leaves it. Hilton takes it, puts some good shape on it. Tiello dropped it, but regained possession of it. Ball over the top. Ooh, a little bit of miscommunication there, but Evan Lauro took charge. Now Kilwine and Peters trying to keep it away from Dos Santos, and they do that successfully. Oh, lovely touch from Canardo Forbes, and this could get Pittsburgh in behind here. Cicerone across for Williamson. Williamson! And then it was blocked by Forbes on the line! Forbes wasn't sure, I think, where it was going to go, and Williamson's shot is blocked by his own teammate.
Canardo Forbes couldn't get out of the way. Williamson took plenty of time there. Is this going to tuck itself home? Not exactly sure, because this is a strike. He's not trying to pick out Forbes. Look at the bottom corner. That might be drifting outside the post. Forced lassos there. They're lucky to get a corner out of it. Pittsburgh Riverhounds, hard done by their actions, could be up 1-0.
Forbes actually could have tapped that in with a better first touch. Would have been onside. But the Riverhounds settle for a corner here. Forbes will take it. Towards the back post, Peters went up for. There was a touch in there. I think Cicerone was looking for a handball appeal inside of the penalty area. Referee did not look his way. Ismir Pekmik is our center official tonight. Neil Collins has seen his team nearly concede twice in these first 17.5 minutes.
I think the interesting thing defensively, at least for me so far, is the fact that they're not playing the out-and-out extension in the midfield in front of Jan Ecker and Lewis Hilton with Steinberger the way that they thought, or we thought they would, excuse me. Instead, it's more of a double pivot underneath Dos Santos with Steinberger and Tejada. Makes it a bit easier to play around the exterior. For the Tampa Bay Rowdies, they're just trying not to get split route one, like our train in the background is. Always wondered what's the bounty on there, right? The payload. It's Steel City. You would imagine there's something float around there.
Yeah.
I'm sure Neil Collins is hoping that those white containers back there are just brand new Select soccer balls.
I think Pittsburgh are hoping those are some tickets to the postseason in there somewhere as well. One of the cool aesthetics of being here at Highmark. Fans have really made this one of the funnest atmospheres in the entire USL Championship. And I mean, are you that surprised? It's Pittsburgh, one of the best sports cities on the East Coast. Tampa Bay trying to make their way through. Of course, the moniker around Tampa Bay has become Champa Bay of late. The Rays, of course, went to the World Series. The Bucks are the Super Bowl champions. The Rowdies nearly added themselves to that list. The Lightning are Stanley Cup champions, and the Rowdies are hoping that they're next.
It changes the pronunciation. Remember when Tom Brady signed and it was Tampa Bay?
Oh, it was Tampa,
and then
yeah.
it was Champa Bay and Champa Bay. And
I definitely prefer Champa over Tampa.
yeah.
That's for sure.
Well, the Tampa thing is much more of that Bostonian accent, Tampa.
And that's kind of wide.
Yeah. I'm sure the Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Bob Lilly would love to have a start of that jersey, right?
Yeah.
Of course, Bob Lilly himself having taken down the title in previous years. They've had a good run of it. Gotten better in what seems to be every single season underneath what has to be I would imagine a Hall of Fame manager in United States soccer history, one day at least.
Oh, I think so. If my 2 cents are worth anything. Of course, trying to make amends after the first round exit against Lou City last year. What hurt more about that was not necessarily the loss, but the end of the regular season where Pittsburgh looked like they had the group wrapped up, and Hartford pipped them to the spot. And they ended up losing a hard-fought game in Louisville last season. Of course, they got the team to do it, just about putting together the results. And of course, here at Highmark, it's so tough to get past the Riverhounds. And just look at that record, just 7 defeats and 31 victories for Bob Lilly here at Highmark. And you talk about a fortress in this USL Championship.
87.5% of games that are played on this ground end in a win or a draw for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. That is an obnoxious number.
It's amazing. It really is. Tampa Bay on the attack. Of course, Tampa's never won here in Pittsburgh. And that attack breaks down, and they'll have to settle for Pittsburgh taking a goal kick. Of course, part of that hurt, I'm sure, that Tampa has that they haven't won here is the fact that Pittsburgh won there earlier this season. And you mentioned it at the top, Devin. It was pretty convincing. 2-1 was the final, but Pittsburgh could have put 4 or 5 past Tampa on the day.
There was a lot of opportunities within that game. And remember, Danny Griffin scored early, about 20 minutes into that match. It was already high tempo, but once they scored that goal, they took it into another stratosphere. Heavy challenges back and forth. Cicerone on the other side of halftime. That goal from Tampa Bay, excuse me, that didn't come until 92nd minute from Guenzati.
Yeah.
So it was 2-0 the entire game, and chance after chance after chance. It was one of the few times this season, and again, that was a point in time where the Rowdies, they're pretty banged up. You know, they had a little stretch where it was the loss at Charlotte, then it was the loss home against Pittsburgh. Everybody kind of turned and went, okay, what's going on here? And the next thing you know, they lost 3 in a row. The song being sung now, we'll just say, is it's not even of a different tune. That's a whole nother album, right? The rate that they're playing at, the Tampa Bay Rowdies, it's not often that you see a team play this well for this long within the USL Championship.
Forbes to Wharton. It's really good build-up play between those two, and then the pass goes astray as Williamson and Dixon were queuing up inside of the penalty area. Of course, Lauro and company have just had a phenomenal season for the Rowdies. They lead the league with 13 clean sheets this season. And they're just as good defensively as they are in attack, led by the 19 goals by Sebastian Guenzati. Not in the starting lineup tonight for the Rowdies, but be pretty surprised if we didn't see him come off the bench at some point.
One has to wonder if the way results played out and their ability to clinch the division ahead of time, if that affected the team selection. Guenzati, Dalgard, and Wyke, who have all been consistent within the lineup, all coming off the bench tonight. The other argument is that's a heavy challenge. Studs up here. Watch. This could be a card.
Danny Griffin went in a little late there, to say the least. He's pleading his case with the referee. I think it was Jan Ekra who was fouled. Everyone's throwing in their 2 cents now as our referee Ismir Pekmik is trying to sort things out. We'll get another look at this challenge.
One of the things that I talk about on tackles like this is it's not that much contact on the end of it, but it's the intent. Now, I don't agree with this rule, but brandishing your studs in that fashion, you can't get away with it in this day and age, especially right in front of the referee. So what the ref sees is full extension by Danny Griffin, studs up in the air coming out of player. He doesn't make contact there. The contact is after he gets the ball on the backside, and I don't agree with it. That's a 50-50 for a referee in terms of what his decision is going to be. The fact that he's blown the whistle, it's not overly surprising to me. I would like to see them let them play a little bit more there, right? Because the contact that's made is on a follow through, and it's not with the studs themselves, but it's more the intent here than the actual action.
So no card for Danny Griffin. It's been a wild day for cards in the entire league. We had 2 in the Loudoun-Miami game and 1 in the Charleston-Hartford game as well. And then the Rowdies are in behind. Oh, did that go over the line? Plenty of appeals. The assistant referee did not run back. It did not go in. Or did it? Did this go in? I don't think so. Did he signal the referee? I don't think he did.
There's a foul behind the scenes here too. And
yeah.
if you watch on the replay the far side, the assistant referee is lined up perfectly. Right on the byline, following it the entire way. Let's hope he does get it right. Little redirection here. Dos Santos watches the bounce.
Oh, it's in.
That bounce there looks like it is in.
That was into the back of the net. That looked like there was some green grass between the ball and the line from that angle, at least.
That's one of the frustrating things here is it's so difficult at a split second.
Tampa again trying to get in behind. Vitiello was able to make the save. Well, we'll get another look at this goal line moment here. It was a great header by Forrest Lasso centrally, and then in the middle, Dos Santos at point-blank range.
Of course it's behind
and it's
him.
so tough to tell. Can't really make any assumptions from that angle. That first angle, I think, was the best look we're gonna get. Oh my goodness, so close. And Tampa might have been hard done by there. And Dos Santos possibly should have had another goal against his former club.
In real time, I looked up and I saw the assistant referee on the far line just staring straight down and didn't flinch.
He would have run back to the midway line.
Absolutely did not flinch at all, with the assumption that they were able to follow the ball the entire way.
And just to be fair, it's so tough to tell. Again, with the naked eye, referee looked to be well positioned on the far side as Lauro plays with fire at the back. And then it's cleared away by Lasso. And again, they don't get the other looks that we are lucky enough to get. It looks like that's going to be offside against Pittsburgh.
We did get that one look just at the beginning of this on the set piece. Lewis Hilton knows exactly where he's going. Here you're going to see it. Forrest Lasso, Dos Santos. Again, that's an assumption on our part because it looks like it, but there's no full evidence, right?
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it.
Because it's still sitting behind the foot
not 100%.
of the player. It's not 100%. We can't say it definitively.
Just based on where it hit, it did look like it, but like you said, Devin, can't tell for 100% sure. Dos Santos stopped by Jelani Peters on that far side, and Tampa will settle for a throw.
One of the more frustrating things for the Rowdies as well is in a game like this where you are chasing a little bit, right? The possession has favored the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Now, they're not getting played off the park at all. But in games like this, it does come down to set pieces in a lot of situations, and that's one where you don't want to look back on the end of the game, down 1-0 and go, well, you kind of turned us in the wrong direction 25 minutes into this match, right? That can be the make or break point. And for right now, all the boys in the white jerseys, they're going to try and put that behind them and just hope that's not a breaking point. Instead, it's a catalyst to get this thing back on track.
From the throw-in, it's easily cleared by Todd Wharton. It's only as far as Scarlett. Lovely touch on that far side to keep it with the Rowdies. And then Dos Santos tried to feed it to Hilton, who was blocked. I think that one might get a little moisture on it as it goes out of the stadium. course, Cicerone's been phenomenal for Pittsburgh this season. 14 goals, new career high for him in championship play. Tied for 6th overall in the league this season. Played for that remarkable St. Louis team in their final season last year that came all the way back to get into the playoffs over Indy 11 and then won that wild game in Hartford to get to the second round of the playoffs before their season end. Of course, the franchise ended against Lou City. Great ball in behind from Dixon! And then it was a great chance for Cicerone right on cue, but Lauro got there first.
There's that 1-2 punch. Great coverage defensively, but it's the cross patterns that you're going to get. Tommy Williamson drifting to the back post. Cicerone on the diag. That's some kind of vision by Alex Dixon. And how about the response by Evan Lauro to come off his line? If he doesn't leave his line, that gives Cicerone the ability to bring this over his shoulder and get a full strike on goal. Instead, Evan Lauro stands tall. It makes it real difficult for the striker.
Poor throw-in from Wheat gives it right back, but then good job winning that back by Preston Kilwine, and Kenardo Forbes can distribute. At least try to. Steven Dos Santos picks it back up. Now Juan Tejada in the ascendancy for the Rowdies. This is Dos Santos.
It's one of the more frustrating things right now for the Rowdies is just when you feel like you gain a bit of momentum and you're working your way back in. Good set piece on the other end, good creativity in another situation, and then boom, that quick flash from a home squad. They give you so many different looks, it's really difficult to find any sort of trends. Had a little fun with Neil Collins about that, and I said, you know, Neil, one of the things that is so fun about Bob Lilly is he throws a million things at you, but I feel like recently they've become a bit more predictable in terms of their lineup and where they try and attack. And he kind of paused for a second and he said, I don't think I've ever heard the words predictable and Bob Lilly in the same sentence. But he said, you know, you're right. There are some tendencies that have become a bit more apparent over the course of the season. But I think that's more so because of the fact that they're taking more chances. And those chances are calculated. It's going to be a stretch by Alex Dixon, Cicerone, Kenardo Forbes, or Tommy Williamson. And usually that's coming from isolated spots on the field. You know, Dixon is going to primarily rotate and operate on the right side. He will come in, he will jump up top, but if he's being used on the left-hand side, that's something we saw earlier on this season out of necessity as opposed to predictability. Right now, you get an idea of where he's going to attack you from. Now, you've still got to execute, and you've got to find where all those runs are coming. So if you isolate one, there's still the diagonal from Cicerone. Williamson drifting the other way. Kenardo Forbes has somehow ended up as a winger on the opposite side of the field. So that's the part where it's really difficult to figure out what Bob Lilly is trying to do on the offensive side.
Wheat. The path initially of Kenardo Forbes. Now Peters plays it out wide to Preston Kilwine. Pittsburgh have had the most chances so far, but Tampa Bay's had the best chance. So far, nothing on the score sheet as Russell Cicerone was not able to keep that in. The push to the playoffs for the Riverhounds continues at home on Saturday, October 23rd at 7 p.m. when the Charleston Battery come to town. Don't forget to check out the new tailgate zone starting 2 hours before kickoff with music, as well as local foods and beers. Call 412-865-GOAL or visit riverhounds.com for tickets. There's Charleston keeping their playoff hopes, albeit ever so slight, playoff hopes alive today with a 4-3 win against Hartford. Tampa on the attack, and that was a crucial header by Peters, and then Wheat is able to clear. Of course, for those that missed it, that means that Hartford Athletic are out. Their playoff hopes have been dashed. Charleston are the only team left out of the top four that still have a slim, albeit, chance. And Pittsburgh, of course, can confirm the second spot. Not, of course, in the table, but they can confirm the second ticket punched from the Atlantic Division if they win tonight.
Be careful here when you get flat coming outside Juan Tejada. Almost dropped into 4, and Dos Santos is the only one up top, and that makes it a bit more difficult when they start to move side to side here, create the unbalance. Have to create depth for yourself as well within the midfield.
Oh, what a ball that is by Forbes. Can Cicerone finish? It won't matter. The flag is up on the near side. And the attack goes by the wayside for Pittsburgh.
You get an idea of where they're trying to attack, though. It's those diagonals that I talked to you about 10 minutes into the game, right?
Yeah.
I referenced the tendencies for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And not that they're predictable, but those tendencies exist within any squad. And the Tampa Bay Rowdies, Aaron Guillen, Forrest Lasso, Jordan Scarlett, excuse me. That's a good look at it right there. Forrest Lasso, pinch into the left-hand side. That is a tendency that the Tampa Bay Rowdies have. And so he comes one way, you go the other. Tommy Williamson can drag a runner with him as well. So right now, Tommy Williamson in between Lasso and Scarlett. As Williamson goes to the far side of the field, Scarlett's going to follow so far and then pass him. But within that time frame, that's when the Pittsburgh Riverhounds step in quickly. They find Kenardo Forbes, you've already dragged Lasso, and then you can find that run on the far post. It's not figuring out where these brief moments come from. It's how quickly can you step into them.
Tejada on the attack for Tampa Bay. Just poking it along. Jan Ekra out wide. Leo Fernandez, who Pittsburgh didn't quite deal with that initially, but Todd Wharton mops it up. Guillen. Lovely switch of play. A little bit of a chip attempt. Pittsburgh cover it up. Now Cicerone out to Williamson. Now can the Riverhounds counter here? Dixon thinks better of it. And Wheat clears it in front of Bob Lilly on this near side. Pittsburgh end up winning a throw as Williamson did enough, dealing with Guillen and Lasso on this near side. Neil Collins looks to have calmed down since the ball itself had to be replaced about 26 minutes ago. Great job shepherding that out of play for a throw. Connor Antley on that far side. Of course, Russell Cicerone could also join that double-double club we mentioned earlier. He's got 14 goals and 7 assists this season for Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh could actually potentially, still about 4 or 5 games left, have 2 guys that enter that double-double category and milestone. Pittsburgh again on the attack here with Peters, I should say Kilwine, now Griffin. Mikel Williams. And again, Williams picks his head up and looks like Forbes makes a good run in behind. Can he control it? He tried his best. Not quite able to do so. And then a foul against Todd Wharton allows Tampa Bay to alleviate some of this Pittsburgh pressure that continues to be applied here in this first half.
Excellent recovery, though, by Connor Antley on the far side. He was beaten. Forbes had gotten in behind. Didn't hit the panic button, though. Just track back. Get a tiny bit of pressure on the captain from the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Off the ball. Well, it doesn't get pushed away. It does get popped up, and then you start to give yourself some pressure relief.
Dos Santos tried to get around Jelani Peters and instead fouls him. And expresses some frustration. Just 3 assists away from a double-double himself, Russell Cicerone. One thing that's fascinated me, Devin, is, of course, that St. Louis team from last year, where they've gone and the impact that they've made this season. Cicerone here in Pittsburgh, Kyle Gregg with Lou City, Toby Adewale even with Indy 11. They've been all over the place.
Well, remember, Adewale started in Phoenix.
That's right. Yeah, before he even got to Indy as well. Tyler Blackwood, of course, with Oakland roots.
Fanuel Kavita's still at Birmingham.
And doing really well.
Yeah.
He was the captain of that St. Louis team.
Well, and the other one was Sam Fink. Interesting that he was never picked up.
Yeah. Had a couple of crucial moments down the stretch of that season.
Whoops. Taxi. I get it.
Surprised nobody shouted 4 on this near side. Pittsburgh will take the handout. Not the best header back, but it's well recovered. Dos Santos not giving up on the play, but I think it did go out of play before Dos Santos scampered off with it. 5 minutes to go, plus potential stoppage time at the end of this first half. And of course, Tampa nearly scored, at least it looked like it did. Couldn't be 100% sure on the replay. It looked like they got the header over the line from Dos Santos, but referee said no. And then, of course, the 2 big chances for Pittsburgh, they actually had a few. Williamson being blocked in the end by Canardo Forbes, and then Wharton missing inside the penalty area as well. So both teams have had chances, but so far, nothing yet on the score sheet. A reminder, if Pittsburgh wins, they clinch a playoff spot, and then they'll be fighting for the number 2 seed in a home playoff game in the first round against somebody from the Central Division. If Tampa Bay wins, they go back to the top of the race for the number 1 overall seed in the USL Championship. Anything other than that, and Phoenix will be in front.
Well, how about what's going on in the Central right now? Eli Cronali might have just sealed the fate for Indy 11. 74th minute goal puts Birmingham Legion up 2-1. If 901 FC can get a result at San Antonio, that eliminates Indy 11 and their playoff hopes this season.
We've already seen Hartford go out tonight, and Indy could be pushed towards the exit door. Of course, OKC still very much alive in that Central Division as well. But Memphis has those games in hand that could put Ben Pierman's side over the top. Oh, good header by Forbes here. Forced Cicerone back a little bit in the end. Cicerone lays it off. Good cross. Oh, a swing and a miss. And Williamson scores! Tampa didn't deal with it. And Tommy Williamson opens the scoring for Pittsburgh.
It's been coming the entire first half, creating a lot of chances for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. This is all about the separation on another diagonal ball. It starts before Cicerone recollects on the back post. It's a 25-yard ball up over the top. He knows it's not on, and he doesn't panic. Just sits here, allows Preston Kilwine to get high. We said he would, as he does. It's not the best of balls in. It's not the greatest of clearances. It's a mistimed ball on the back post. Jordan Scarlett can't push it away. Deflects right in front of the rookie. Tommy Williamson just tucks this thing home in the bottom corner for the Pittsburgh League just before halftime whistle.
6 goals this season for the rookie. And the Riverhounds are off and running at Highmark. By the way, Tommy Williamson now alone is the 3rd leading goal scorer on this Pittsburgh team, and that is saying something with the amount of talent they have. And you see their record when they score first this season. It's normally a good sign for Bob Lilly's team, and they have found the breakthrough just minutes before halftime. And a rare miscue at the back by Tampa Bay allowed Williamson to get the chance, but you still got to take it, and Williamson held his nerve.
It's been incredible to me to watch where these assaults are coming from, Sean, because you can see it. I mean, it's not that hard to figure out what's going on right now. They're looking direct, they're looking over the top, they come side to side. Look at the back post right now, on the back shoulder of Jordan Scarlett. Connor Antling not dropping deep enough, and what ends up happening is they bring them in close on one side, they hit that 30-yard ball up over the top, and then everybody steps into it. This is about communication right now. If you're on the Tampa Bay Rowdies, it's got to be smarter. That starts with your goalkeeper, Evan Laurel. It extends to the back line, and they've got to be barking orders at the guys in front of them. More pressure on the ball. That doesn't mean press. That means more pressure. And as these runs do start to slide over, you can't tell me with as talented as this back three are that they're just going to continue to let these balls drop. That's the conversation at halftime right now for Neil Collins and his boys. Because it's pretty simplistic in nature. They just got to step into it.
Oh, Jelani Peters off to the races here. And he lost his footing, I think, as he tried to shoot at the last minute. But, oh, Tampa almost dwelled on that a little too long. Lovely back and forth between Peters and Forbes. Really let an unlikely source into the penalty area there. Tampa will get a free kick in front of Bob Lilly here on this near side. And then we'll await to see how many minutes will be added on at the end of this first half. No stoppage time in the end, and an exciting first half it was here in the Steel City. Tampa nearly scored early on in the first half. Pittsburgh had many opportunities, and one was finally taken by Tommy Williamson. His 6th goal of the season off a Tampa mistake, and Pittsburgh have the breakthrough at the half, and they lead by a 1-0. It's a big game for the Riverhounds, and they're off to the right start here at Highmark Stadium. It's simple for Pittsburgh. If they win, they are in. Bob Lilly's side have the lead, and there's 45 minutes still to go in Pittsburgh. Riverhounds lead it by a 0-0. Halftime is next from Pittsburgh. First half.
October is here, and so is the push to the playoffs for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. With tickets starting at just $18, you can cheer on the Hounds as they battle for home field advantage in the playoffs. The Riverhounds go head-to-head with the Charleston Battery, October 23rd in a 7 p.m. Saturday night showdown. Visit riverhounds.com or talk to a ticket representative at 412-865-GOAL.
Hey, I'm Mike Rowe, here today to encourage you to connect with 811 before you dig.
And I'm Mike Rowe, and I'm here because I love to dig in the dirt.
It's true. He's also here because he's very small and not that bright. Here, for instance, we can see Mike Rowe doing what he loves to do. And here we can see the consequences of not doing what he should have done. Dude, why didn't you call 811?
I forgot the number.
See? Not that bright.
My name is Shay, and I have a condition that I take a medication that's made out of human plasma.
Hi, Shay. Welcome to BioLife. We take the generous gift of these donors in order to make these therapies. We make it safe, fast, and easy.
You know, you're compensated for your time while you're coming in and donating.
I just really wanted to thank you for your donation because y'all do change lives. Y'all really do. And I'm thankful for that.
Sean St. Jacques, Devin Kerr back here with you at the half in Pittsburgh. Riverhounds and Rowdies. We'll get to the second half between those two in just a few moments. But first, we'll take a look at the playoff picture around the USL Championship. Devin, we start with the teams who have already clinched. And, of course, Tampa Bay Rowdies were just confirmed as Atlantic Division champions earlier today.
Never hurts when you clinch a division and you don't even step on the field. It hurts to be so good. 5 games remaining in their schedule. I joked about this on social media. They could lose every single remaining game and still take down the #1 seed in the Atlantic Division. That's pretty impressive. October 30th. Mark your calendars. Louisville versus Birmingham. That's going to decide the #1 in the Central. El Paso and Phoenix, those divisions are done.
Obviously, Tampa has the inside track. They control their own destiny for the top seed in the tournament. This is the playoff bracket as it stands right now and a lot of potential juicy matchups. Memphis trying to sneak in the Central. Their reward would be going to Tampa Bay. And, of course, Lou City and Pittsburgh could be a rematch of last year's first round.
For me, I'm already looking to the second round. How bad is that? That's terrible on my part. There's some really crazy matchups in the first round, but then I look at things like, man, can you imagine Colorado Springs traveling to Phoenix? Ooh. What an insane game that would be. San Antonio and El Paso Locomotive. There'd be 15,000 passes in that game, but I would love every second of it.
Birmingham, Miami's not too shabby either on the eastern side of things.
Love that. And also, by the way, no matter who Charlotte Independence play, first round or second round, that team has come on strong. They're going to be a handful no matter who they get out.
That Atlantic Division is something else this season in the USL Championship. We can't wait to see how it turns out. We'll take a break here, and when we come back, news and notes and scores from around the league and much more from Pittsburgh and Highmark Stadium.
Today, as you step onto the field, you step into your purpose. You step strong. You step hard. Con toda la fuerza de mujer, you step up.
Hey, y'all. Can we change up the chores?
Sorry. It's up to the wheel, man.
Oh, yeah?
Hey, change the channel back.
Sorry, it's up to the wheel.
I am a first-generation student here at Bellevue University. I feel like if I were to have gone to a different university, my experience would have been a lot more stressful and overwhelming, because I feel like I wouldn't have gotten that personal experience that Bellevue University has to offer.
Around it comes Fox. Solik, the back heel in! What a goal!
That's it. Luna is shot into the back. Goal.
Kuramoto has won it for OKC Energy FC. Oh, that is a brilliant goal from the substitute.
Today, as you step onto the field, you step into your purpose. You step strong. You step hard. Con toda la fuerza de mujer, you step up.
Just in time for the start of the 2021 season, we're offering Riverhounds mini flex plans. Flex plans are 6 vouchers to use any way you want over the 2021 season to catch the Hounds in action. Use them all for one game or spread them out through the season. With 3 different plans starting at $90, you can choose anywhere in Highmark Stadium to cheer on the Hounds. Visit riverhounds.com or call 412-865-GOAL.
Sean St. Jacques, Devin Kerr back here with you. Halftime rolls on here in Pittsburgh as we take a look at the news and notes from around the USL Championship. And obviously the big news out of USL League One with Lexington adding its name into the foray for 2023. Great to see that market getting a pro team. And obviously we're going to be talking about it a lot these next few weeks. The playoff picture continues to heat up around the USL Championship, and Memphis are certainly a big part of that, led by Laurent Kissiadou.
Sean, I don't know about you, but that graphic to me, that spells road trip. You and I, Bourbon Trail, Open Cup game, Lexington, Lou City. Call me crazy, and if it's crazy, I don't want to be wrong.
I'm with you.
Perfect.
I'm with you.
Let's do it.
No question about it. Rev up the engines for sure. Scoreboard around the Atlantic Division of the USL Championship. Well, what didn't happen in the last 24 hours? Charlotte scored 2 goals in 2 minutes to beat Red Bulls 2, and then today was just madness.
My number one comment about this is, why was Kevin Riascos taking a penalty?
Yeah.
All the guys on that team.
Yeah.
Sylvain Marveau, Irvin Parr,
Oberton.
Dane Kelly, Oberton, Christian Fuchs on the back line, and Riascos is taking a pen?
Double save, by the way, by Marcucci. That was impressive.
And they also scored all 3 goals in the game because Hugh Roberts on the own goal. Paco Craig gets red carded. Loudon come from behind. Charleston Battery up 4-1, up a man, and allowed 2 goals at the end of their match. Hartford Athletic eliminated officially from USL Championship playoff contention.
There were actually two reds in that Loudoun-Miami game. A Loudoun player was sent off pause as well. USL Championship schedule, almost every game on this billboard here means something. Memphis, Lou City, Orange County, Phoenix, El Paso, Colorado Springs, Switchbacks, and of course Charlotte trying to wrap things up for a playoff spot and fully eliminating Charleston.
901 Louisville. That's me. That's me, and here's why. Because every other game, respectfully, we have a real good idea of what those teams are about. El Paso, Colorado Springs, they've drawn. That's a rubber match of sorts. Orange County, Phoenix, and the games that they've showed us. For me, 901 FC and the strength that they've been on. Kissy Adu coming off Player of the Week, Clear Audio. You've got Kyle Murphy who's having a great season. They've established a true identity, but they haven't done it against a Louisville team or a top-tier team recently. Now's their chance, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern time.
I'm going to throw out El Paso, Colorado Springs. The latest chapter in that rivalry looks pretty juicy as well. We'll take a break. First half highlights and stats from Pittsburgh are next.
I can't believe we're doing this.
Gus, you're not scared, are you?
I don't like thunder. Hope they're no monsters.
Did you say monster?
Ooh, monster money. The new scratch-off from the Pennsylvania lottery.
Yeah, with top prizes of 13 grand.
That's a monster of a prize. Keep on scratching.
October is here, and so is the push to the playoffs for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. With tickets starting at just $18, you can cheer on the Hounds as they battle for home field advantage in the playoffs. The Riverhounds go head-to-head with the Charleston Battery, October 23rd in a 7 p.m. Saturday night showdown. Visit riverhounds.com or talk to a ticket representative at 412-865-GOAL.
Before you weren't able to walk very far.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. I couldn't even get out of bed sometimes.
How are you walking now?
I'm walking 6 miles a day.
Awesome.
Getting control back is living proof. The AHN Neuroscience Institute.
Have you heard about the new Tailgate Zone at Highmark Stadium? The Tailgate Zone is located just outside of the Highmark Stadium West Gate for all remaining 2021 home matches starting 2 hours before kickoff. You can hang out pregame through halftime of Hounds home games and enjoy local brews and drinks, local food trucks, and music as part of the match day festivities. Visit riverhounds.com for more information or call 412-865-GOAL.
Sean St. Jacques, Devin Kerr back here with you. Pittsburgh leading Tampa Bay by 1-0 at the half. A big game for the Riverhounds. If they can win it, they punch their ticket to the playoffs in the USL Championship. And the Rowdies, of course, trying to keep pace for the top seed in the USL Championship playoffs. First half highlights. We start in the 17th minute. Pittsburgh on the attack, starting in the midfield, and they created a chance.
The story about it was all about these diagonal runs, though, Sean. Every single time they came forward, whether it was a 5-yard ball or a 25-yard ball. This is about the crossing patterns on the back line and the inability of the back three to pick it up. I mentioned the communication for the goalkeeper had to be good. His saves had to be better. It's a great move by the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. It's an even better save by Evan Laurel. And then the controversy. 25 minutes in, is it in? That's the question here. We've slowed it down from all the angles that we had. We do not have definitive evidence that this is over the line. Even right there, it's really hard to tell. Judge for yourself at home. I can tell you this, I'm not willing to pass judgment on it myself. The one thing you'd have to take away from this, the guys make one argument, immediately they run the other direction. So not a lot of lobbying from the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Instead, up-tempo for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Here's another long ball distributed out of the back, and then watch the run again. Dixon starts to pitch back inside. There's another diagonal. Great little cut across by Cicerone. Beautiful step off the back line by Evan Laurel. There was a trend here in the first half. You saw it. Multiple chances where those streaking runs coming from opposite directions caused problems. That culminated in the 42nd minute. Simple little transitional move to the outside. Shane Wheat picks his head up. Long ball up over the top. Diagonal. Stop me if you've heard this before. Cicerone slows things up, and then he catches the run. Now, is it wrong here from the Rowdies. Absolutely it is. It's very uncharacteristic of Jordan Scarlett, but look at the separation when the ball does come through. Nobody else steps in. Evan Loro is hung out to dry, and Tommy Williamson buries it in the back of the net. 6 on the season, and the 1-0 lead right now at halftime for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
He's now the 3rd leading goal scorer for Pittsburgh this season. Pretty darn impressive. Here are the halftime match stats from this one. Pittsburgh had a few offside chances that took away some opportunity. Just the one shot on target. It was the one that obviously ended up being cleared off the line officially. Not sure if it ended up going in. Obviously can't tell for sure. Anything else that stands out to you, Devin?
I'd like to see a shape change on the inside for the Rowdies. In terms of the statistics, because of that possession, they don't need to win that battle. They just need to close that gap. 60-40, that's really close to getting away from the Tampa Bay Rowdies in an uncharacteristic fashion, because this isn't a team that has to sit back and absorb a massive amount of pressure and then spring into the game. They want to control the tempo, change the shape a little bit, make Dos Santos, switch him to the left a little bit, switch him to the right, run a double pivot up top, drop one underneath into the midfield, create a nice little triangle, remove the interior. Get rid of Danny Griffin, move away from Todd Wharton, make everything go to the outside, and then you got to track the runners. For me, that's where they find success. Now, on the backside of that argument, it is the long balls up over the top, because even if you get rid of the center part, you still got to find a way to close down the direct play that has been the Riverhounds in the opening first half.
That's the live table. If the score was to stay the same, Pittsburgh would clinch a spot in the USL Championship playoffs. And with a game in hand for Charlotte and Miami, Pittsburgh would also lead the race for the 2nd seed. And of course, Pittsburgh play Miami after this. So that would be a big game regardless of the outcome, but would really favor Pittsburgh if they were able to see this one out and deal the Rowdies a blow. Of course, the Rowdies, their 9-game winning streak and 12-game unbeaten run are at risk here in Pittsburgh as the second half is underway, and the Riverhounds will go from right to left in their black and yellows. Jan Ekra, I think, handled that on his way through. And Pittsburgh will have an early free kick. Sean St. Jacques, Devin Kerr on hand for this one in the Steel City. Tommy Williamson's goal in the 42nd minute separates the sides.
Just to piggyback off of the shape change, the other item that you could address is if you wanted to drag Hilton by himself underneath. Drag Hilton underneath Jan Ekra, brings Steinberger in, and now you've got that double pivot that you're asking for. You're just not utilizing it from your strikers. You've put Hilton as the main driver, and you're still going to create balance. That doesn't mean that's the overall shape in its entirety, but that creates more of a closure on the inside. It eliminates some of that direct play, some of the pivoting that we saw in the first half. They've got to get Pittsburgh off the ball more, though.
Bernardo Forbes whips it in. Forrest Lasso got his head to it first. A lovely ball by Alex Dixon, back to Forbes. Forbes' first time ball in, though, leaves a bit to be desired. Just to reiterate, a draw would not be enough for the Riverhounds tonight. A win has to be there for them to clinch a playoff spot this evening. Great ball in behind, Dos Santos! Crucial block. Pittsburgh escape unharmed. Now Cicerone. Griffin out wide. Wharton, first time ball over the top. Cicerone will get on the end of this. Williamson and Forbes in the middle. The layoff. Good ball in from Dixon, and Forbes just couldn't get a piece of it. And it's out for a Rowdies throw. Here's a look at that last sequence. Ends up being a big save from Vitiello. Thought it might have been blocked by Wheat on the way through, but not to be. Free kick here for Pittsburgh. There was a change for the Rowdies at halftime. It was Deon Harris coming on for Zach Steinberg, who we really didn't get a chance to talk a lot about in that first half. So Neil Collins does make a slight adjustment.
Not only that, he looks like he's actually dropped into a back four right now. Forrest Lasso and Jordan Scarlett turning into your center backs, with Connor Antley moving into the right back spot.
Vitiello just got that pass to Hada. A good chest down by Williamson. Cicerone over the top. Cicerone again. Forbes is up with him. Oh, what a pick out that is. Todd Wharton. He leaves it. Griffin has his shot blocked. Kilwine on a recycle. And then Griffin couldn't find Canardo Forbes, who I think might have gotten tripped up under his own feet. Tampa on the road this season, 13 games, they've won 8 of them. They've lost 4 and drawn 1 this season. Of course, they've never had that winning feeling here at Highmark. They did draw here in the last meeting in a goalless game. Of course, if Pittsburgh can win, they'll also win the season series over Tampa Bay with 2 wins out of 4 and a draw as well.
How interesting that the Tampa Bay Rowdies at the start of the second half have come out in a flat back 4. That is not a look that you normally see from Neil Collins and his crew. And when discussing the changes, Sean, of what I thought they could do, never in my mind would it have crossed that he would be willing to go to a 4, because they have so much success in a 3. Even when they're struggling in games and maybe lacking a bit of momentum, they always stick with that back 3. Instead, you pivot here. That solves the immediate problem. It's an easy one up over the top. You just eliminate the diagonals, give yourself more coverage defensively.
Forbes trying to pick out Dixon. Too far over the top.
Have to make sure that you maintain, and that's right there. Neil Collins going right down the path that I was going to say. They got to make sure they maintain proper coverage next to each other up top. When Tejada and Dos Santos start to pivot, it's the same thing when you work yourself across the field. It's the outlet pass, it's the extension. 10 yards, 15 tops when the ball starts to move in transition. Otherwise, that's going to be real easy for the Riverhounds to pick up the runs.
Mikel Williams went over the top of Steven Dos Santos, which leads to this free kick, I should say, for Tampa Bay. We'll see how it works out for Neil Collins' side, in search of an equalizer.
We know what he drinks, Iron Brew.
Yeah, you did mention that.
What kind of gum does he chew? That's the next question. That's what we need to know. You think Big Red, maybe? Cinnamon type guy?
You think so? Big Red?
I kind of strike him as a juicy fruit.
I was just going to say
right?
that.
Juicy fruit. It's going to move you.
It's got the yellow in there as well to match the Rowdies colors.
You think he's color coordinated with the gum?
Oh, I know I try to do that.
Respect. That's next level, man. I don't even have that in my wardrobe.
You've got to think about that. It's a fashion statement, I think.
To be fair, I'm also been told that I shouldn't chew gum because of the sugar content. I've got enough energy, so.
Wharton leaves it for Williamson. Forbes blocked. Crucial intervention there by Tampa. Now in transition here, Harris. And Harris slipped at the vital moment and gives it back. To be fair, the fashion part of my game ends with the gum. As Steven Dos Santos takes a look.
They don't have to be direct up over the top. Great tacticians with the ball at their feet, right? It is another little pinch back across. Great move by Tommy Williamson. A little stretch forward. Wharton, one of those St. Louis players in seasons past that you referenced earlier.
Fernandez penalized. Jasmir Pekmik has done well, I think, keeping the extracurriculars to a minimum tonight so far. Played forward initially. At the back by Mikael Williams. It's going to go out for a Pittsburgh throw. What's your gum go-to?
To be honest, all jokes aside, I don't really chew gum.
Yeah, neither do I, to be honest with you.
No, I don't really chew gum.
I used to be a big league chew sour apple guy back in the day.
Bring that nonsense over here all day, absolutely.
Yeah, that's got to be up there for a kid's gas station snack. No question about that.
What was the pink one that was all wrapped up?
Oh, Bubblicious.
I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
Although the zebra stripe gum.
Oh yeah.
That's going old school there.
Definitely.
I'm dating myself.
Definitely. I don't remember the last time I had that, but I definitely have had it.
Well, Macaulay Culkin sported it in Home Alone too, so I thought I was cool like him. And
there you go.
Turned out I wasn't. So funny how that works out.
Double bubble I'll throw in as an honorable mention as well. It's good for about a minute, but it's pretty good. On the attack now, Forbes. They'll do it again. Another corner. The Riverhounds have added premium suites for 2021, exclusive and private suites with minimum menu options. Check out the balcony that overlooks the action and the majestic view of Pittsburgh's skyline. You can visit riverhounds.com or call the box office 412-865-GOAL today. Pittsburgh already have one goal to their name. They're in search of a second, but Forrest Lasso nips that in the bud, and now the Rowdies could be in behind here. Good ball over the top. Dayon Harris picks his head up. He has two through the middle. It's Dos Santos, and he goes down in the penalty area. The referee points to the spot, and it's a penalty for Tampa. And it's a yellow card for Vitiello for the challenge. And Tampa Bay have a chance to get on terms here. It was a lightning quick counterattack by the Rowdies, and they have a spot kick.
The counter's beautiful, and you're going to hear this out of me. If you're a Tampa Bay Rowdies fan, you're not going to like what I'm going to say. This is soft, and here's why. There's no way he's getting to this ball. The problem is, it is a penalty. It's a soft one. There's barely any contact at all. Vitiello way off his line. Credit to Dos Santos, who recognizes that he's going to take some sort of contact somewhere in the box. Got to be smarter if you're the goalkeeper in this situation.
Huge chance for the Rowdies to equalize here. It's going to be Leo Fernandez who steps up. Can Danny Vitiello keep him out of the net? You can feel the shake coming from the crowd here at Highmark, doing all they can to try and halt Leo Fernandez. Fernandez for Tampa Bay. And it's saved! And the rebound goes over the top!
Regardless of the call, you still got to go back to the ball itself. Tiny bit of contact on the right ankle. Agree or disagree, still work to be done. And Danny Vitiello finishes that off. This is some kind of save. That's a semi-decent penalty from Fernandez into the bottom corner. Like to bring him a bit more inside the post. Still plenty of pace behind it. And Pittsburgh, man, who gave up half a goal against in 2020, keeps this one out of the back of the net.
Boy, you could feel the ground shaking at Highmark after that was saved by Vitiello. And Pittsburgh stay in front. Tampa had a chance on that follow-up. I think it was Tejada, but he couldn't hit the target, and Tampa Bay let the chance go. Back on the attack, though. Hilton over the top. Fernandez was in behind, but Vitiello again beats him to the spot. Huge heroics from Danny Vitiello. And Bob Lilly's side stay one step ahead for now.
You can hear the shouts coming from the sideline, too. The supporting cast at the Rowdies is asking for them to get on the ball. They're saying, get control, get on the ball. And Bob Lilly's asking for higher tempo. He wants this thing much quicker. Quicker movements, quicker passing, everything. There is space there for both of these teams right now. It's going to be an extra ask for Tejada and Dos Santos.
Cicerone in behind on the edge of the penalty area. He's brought down. And Forrest Lasso is booked for the challenge.
It's these 50-50 challenges, and then the second and third one after it, because the header that comes out immediately has a secondary threat that's pushed forward by Russell Cicerone. Forrest Lasso doesn't agree. It's a foul all day long. Cut back across the body, steps right in the path of him. Now you're looking at someone like Kenardo Forbes, one of the marksmen. Tommy Williamson has started to make his way into this equation over the past couple of weeks, but Kenardo Forbes from set piece situations is usually the guy who steps up. You wonder the way that Tommy Williamson has been striking the ball if they're going to favor him. Quarter hour mark in the second half, hour overall. The right footer. So difficult from this distance, Sean, to get it up and down, I can tell you that.
Tommy Williamson looks poised. An hour gone here at Highmark. Tampa Bay have had two huge chances to score. They haven't taken either of them. Tommy Williamson's goal at the moment has Pittsburgh in front. And Williamson's trying to double his money here from just outside of the penalty area. Can Tommy Williamson repeat the trick? Oh, it goes through the wall, but Tampa Bay do just enough. And they're able to block it. Deion Harris, great hustle there to keep it in, but Tejada handled it. Advantage played by the referee. It's a good advantage. Forbes to Dixon. Dixon in behind. 2-0. No, he hit the side netting. Oh, my. Well, just like me, the fans thought it was in. The net bulged, but it was the side netting.
Bob Lilly asking them to turn up the tempo. You can't get much better than this. A tiny bit of an extension away from Alex Dixon here. Otherwise, you clean that up, and that's 2-0 easy.
Williamson, oh, he's chipped the goalkeeper, but it's over the top. End-to-end stuff. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay will make a change. We're going to see Sebastian Guenzati enter the fray here. Tejada's night is done, and the 19-goal scorer is going to come on. 19 this season, 5 behind Haji Berry for second in the league. And we'll see if he can make an impact. He has not yet scored here against Pittsburgh. What a wild last 5 minutes this has been.
Look at the press now for the Riverhounds.
Tampa Bay very fortunate to break through it. What can they conjure up here on the other end? Nothing. As a poor pass from Guillen ends that attack. 19 goals for Guenzati, 5 assists this season.
He's been downright rude doing it too, the way that he's been bagging these things. From every which way, the spot, open play, header, right foot, left foot. This is kind of one of those years when you've got a player of that caliber playing at that high of a level, don't even question it. Just feed the beast and find him as many chances as you can.
Pittsburgh again on the attack. Cicerone made a good run through the middle. Dixon now picking it up. Dixon nearly scoring his 10th goal of the season just a minute ago. But it's still the Williamson goal to nil. Bob Lilly still asking his team to get that ball over the top where they've had success tonight. Leo Fernandez, though, picks this up. Getting towards the penalty area, and Mikel Williams stands him up. Well, we've had a penalty save. We've had Alex Dixon come so close, hitting the side netting. Still plenty more game to go.
Well, the way that they've switched into 4, you're starting to see more looks, like right now, where Jan Ekra and Lewis Hilton are coming deeper. The problem is they're pretty much both coming. I talked about the relationship up top between the two strikers and how you could make a similar argument other areas on the pinch to provide the balance to each other. But as Ekra and Hilton both come, they don't have an exit point. There's no stepping stone within the midfield because Dos Santos and Guenzati are so high. It's great that they're paired next to each other, but you're looking at a 20, 25-yard gap that you just can't play through. Because it's easy to think that the space is there, but someone's got to step into it because you're playing through guys like Todd Wharton and Danny Griffin, especially when they start to pinch inside and Kennardo Forbes comes in to help out.
Jan Ekra dispossessed. Forbes, we ended up putting a player on his back. Stays with the Riverhounds. Vitiello. Gotta be careful there with Dos Santos bearing down on him. Just got it away. And a free kick, I think, for Pittsburgh. "25 minutes left of the 90. This one is still on a knife edge. And if Pittsburgh can hold on, they will clinch a playoff spot. And if Tampa Bay wins, they'll get back to the top of the race for the #1 overall seed in the USL Championship.
By the way, just to give you a little update.
Oh, yeah.
On the gum conversation, I've been reminded on Twitter a couple of things. Number one, that they pinned Neil down as more of a double mint kind of guy.
Oh, that's a good shout.
Yeah.
That's a good shout.
Or maybe going old school with the Trident Spearmint.
Not bad. I like that.
Those are qualities.
Yeah.
High qualities.
Boy, how many times has Trident Spearmint bailed people out across America? Am I right? My goodness.
And right now, I'd like to freshen up this attack. That's what he's looking for. The good news is they've eliminated those long diagonals up over the top. The bad news is they've made themselves more susceptible to playing right through the middle. And they're having a hard time finding that relationship between Ekra, Hilton, and who's going to step into the next one, because the shifting right and left has really been the major issue here in the second half.
Dos Santos fouling Griffin. And he's displeased with the referee's decision. It's good play between Guenzati and Dos Santos. But Dos Santos lost control of it and then concedes the free kick. Lasso had to deal with that ball over the top, and then a bit of a precarious header back. Ends up being gobbled up. That was Connor Antley, put a little, well, too little on it, I should say. Lauro, though, was able to quickly come off his line and make the catch. Scarlett. Your side, Connor Antley. See there, the 12-match unbeaten run in jeopardy for Tampa Bay. At the moment, they've won 9 in a row. That's also in danger of ending here tonight. One of the top winning streaks we've seen in the USL Championship.
I want to see how long Neil Collins lets this go any further. I would imagine trying to get control of this game, they're going to bring Lawrence Weick on to help out in the midfield. The question's going to be is where does the next change come from? Because you can maneuver that in a couple of different ways here. They don't have any sort of way to connect the dots right now. So when you look down the bets, you've got Doherty, Dalgard, Lawrence Weick, Lakawecki. Weick for me is one that steps out, and then you need some sort of presence up top too. I would lean towards Sebastian Dalgard over Lakawecki because that's the easy little step up. And you also have Leo Fernandez as well too. Remember, Leo Fernandez recently has come in and stepped onto that front line. And I asked Neil Collins about that. What does that relationship look like when he comes forward? And he said, you know, we did it in the Battery game out of necessity the first time around because we didn't have a deep enough bench. They went back to it and they smoked the Charleston Battery last time out. You have to imagine that thinking about that would be the easy change for them.
Well, Weick is going to come on here. Antley is going to come off. And then Sebastian Dalgard, as you just mentioned, Devin, is going to come on. And that's going to be the end of the night for the former Riverhound, Steven Dos Santos. So a double change for Neil Collins. You asked how much longer he was going to let it lie. We're about to find out.
He's got to go. He's got to chase the game right now, right? You had about 6 or 7 minute window, probably about 4 minutes after the start of the second half, where you thought maybe some momentum was swinging your way, but that's not the case anymore.
I think that was a high boot. Pittsburgh regained possession. Wanted to mention this as well, since we're getting towards the latter stages. Bob Lilly talked to us about staying focused, seeing the games out, getting through 90 minutes, and we saw his team struggle with that against Miami. He says we're not all the way there yet. It's something we still have to work on. This is a big test for Pittsburgh these last 20 minutes.
And close it out. This is a team historically that has always been great at grinding out those 1-0, 2-1 type games. But this season, it's been a little bit different. They've opened themselves up on the offensive side of the ball. They've taken more risks, and this is a little bit rough by the referee. Let them play here. I got to side with Neil Collins and the Rowdies on this one. That ball's 1.5 yards from where it's supposed to be. The ball was stopped. Let them play.
Yeah, you could hear him right away being displeased with that decision by the referee. Told that Pittsburgh might be thinking about making a couple of changes. We'll wait confirmation on that. Great atmosphere tonight at Highmark Stadium. Nope, right on cue. Will come a couple of changes for Pittsburgh. Jordan Dover is going to come on. Preston Kilwine is going to make way. Also, Danny Rivera is on, and the goal scorer tonight, Tommy Williamson, has been withdrawn. So a double change for the Riverhounds as well.
That's Bob Lilly starting to batten down the hatches. 20 minutes to go, drop into a 5. Danny Rivera will shift over, you would think, to this left-hand side. You can also do it with Dixon if you wanted to. I mentioned the shift that they utilized him in earlier on this season.
Here comes Dixon. Dixon keeps on going. He goes down. It's a penalty. Forrest Lasso stuck his foot in. Alex Dixon wins a spot kick, and this could be a pivotal moment in this game. Forrest Lasso, by the way, has already been booked.
There's a tremendous amount of contact right at the top of the box between Forrest Lasso and Alex Dixon. Alex Dixon, how good is he? Throw this team on his back. Everybody come along for a ride. Quick-witted, fast-footed, anything you like from their star player this year. There's been a couple of them, but Alex Dixon tonight trying to step up to another level. A little bit of taunt on the back end in front of the referee. Is Forrest Lasso okay?
I'm going to ask you this, Devin Kerr. Should Forrest Lasso be sent off?
Look,
that's a second yellow,
if
surely.
he's sent off there, I have no problem with it because it is a yellow card. If you leave him on, I have no problem with it. The problem is is you haven't given any sort of example earlier on where you're going to let them play, and all of a sudden you're changing your attitude about that.
Well, it's going to fall to Russell Cicerone, leading goal scorer for Pittsburgh this season. Leo Fernandez couldn't score at the other end for Tampa Bay. Can Russell Cicerone give Pittsburgh a 2-goal advantage? Big moment here at Highmark. Cicerone delivers. th goal of the season for Russell Cicerone, and Pittsburgh are 2-0 up with 16 minutes to play.
Just a tremendous effort put forth right now by the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. It starts with the giveaway once again. Coming out of the back, Jordan Scarlett gives it to the Riverhounds. They go the other direction. They've got plenty of supporting cast to pick from. Dixon into the box. Lasso takes him down. Cicerone into the box. Cicerone takes down Evan Laurel. 15th of the season. That's second of the night for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Cruising 2-0 with 15 minutes to go.
Could that be the goal that confirms Pittsburgh's return to the USL Championship playoffs? And Highmark Stadium for the second time tonight is bouncing. On the other end here, a foul's going to go against Tampa Bay. And now Guenzani pleading his case, and oh boy, gets the finger wag from Todd Wharton. No need for that. 15 minutes to go. And now this 9-game winning streak, this 12, pardon, game unbeaten run for Tampa Bay is now in serious jeopardy.
They've been chasing all night long. Every single time that they feel like, okay, I'm going to punch back a little bit, that they feel like they've got an answer for what's being thrown at them.
Here come the Riverhounds again. I don't think Forbes kept that in. No, the flag's going to go up. And Tampa Bay will get a goal kick. Running out of time here now, the Rowdies. And again, if the result holds, Pittsburgh are in to the USL Championship playoffs and punch the second ticket from the Atlantic Division. Wyke puts the ball forward. A bit of a slip by Peters, but miscommunication between Guenzani and Fernandez, and the attack breaks down. Now Williamson and Cicerone have made things tougher now on Neil Collins and Tampa Bay. Pittsburgh also would win the season series over the Rowdies as well, if they can hold on. Forrest Lasso controls. This is Jan Ekra. Well, after Charlotte and Miami missed opportunities today to clinch a playoff spot, Miami losing 3-2 to Loudoun. If they had won that game, they would have been in today. And Charlotte needed a draw between Charleston and Hartford. Charleston won, they stay alive. And Pittsburgh is 13 minutes away from adding their name to the list of playoff teams. Looks like there's going to be a change upcoming. What, a yellow card has been administered as well. We'll check on that in a moment. Jordan Doherty is going to come on, and Forrest Lasso, who you could argue shouldn't be on the pitch right now, is going to be substituted off.
Well, you've got to imagine that with the departure of Forrest Lasso, one, obviously you're adding another body going forward. Two, that's going to pull Lawrence Weick further onto the back line. Had already made himself a home at the right back spot. The question's going to be, is this Jordan Scarlett moving to the inside, or is it Lawrence Weick that's going to round it out? That's kind of the question mark behind this. Look at Jordan Scarlett. He's got his hands in the air. He's not sure what the instructions are from the sideline.
Still time for the Rowdies to rescue this, but they need 2 in the last 12 minutes. Ball is sent in towards the back post, and Vitiello, who's already been a big hero once tonight, saving the Leo Fernandez penalty, easily corrals it. And we're told Alex Dixon was booked earlier, so his name is taken by the referee. Ball bounced around there, not sure there was a hand in there. Tampa Bay comes out with it initially, and then Todd Wharton steps in to force them further back for Guillen to control. Harris wins a throw for Tampa. Williamson scored in the 42nd minute. And then that Cicerone penalty came in the 74th. Tampa looking for a response here. Fernandez cut out as Guenzati tried to find him. Tampa Bay will settle for a throw, and it looks like going to be a change here. Anthony Velarde is going to come on, it looks like, for Pittsburgh. And it looks like that is going to be the end of the night for Kennardo Forbes.
Job well done for their captain. He was our championship assist leader for a reason. He was all over the pitch, and it really is so difficult to track someone like Kennardo Forbes. You would think someone who's actually progressing through his career, hitting the mid-30 mark, that you try and start to pull the mileage off of him, and yet they've given him the ability to do that and yet explore the final third in a depth that we've never seen before under the tutelage of Bob Lilly. And there goes Russell Cicerone, your other goal scorer, from the penalty mark. Some kind of season. 15 goals on the season for Russell Cicerone. This team's been great so far tonight.
He'll be replaced by Albert Dequa, who Bob Lilly told us this week is back, obviously, as you can see in the 18 after dealing with an injury. Just makes this team that much more dangerous with depth up front. It's what one of the beautiful things about these 4 Atlantic teams that are likely going to make the playoffs. All of them have really good attacking depth up top. Foul here is going to allow Tampa Bay to get a free kick. Pittsburgh don't allow them to take it quickly. There's been miscommunication between Tampa and the referee about when they've been able to take kicks these last few minutes. Still a set-piece opportunity, though, for the Rowdies, who are looking for a lifeline here with 8 minutes plus stoppage time remaining here at Highmark. Leo Fernandez is over this. I believe Lewis Hilton is as well. There he is in your picture.
He's been striking the ball real well this year, Lewis Hilton.
Hilton will strike it. It's a good effort. I think it was just going to go wide, but Vitiello wasn't willing to take the risk.
Good intensity, though. Look at Lewis Hilton get right to the corner. Not a bad little strike. I'm with you on that one. I don't think this was going to breach the gates on Danny Vitiello, but better safe than sorry.
Like a bit of a signal there from Lewis Hilton. He was holding the ball up for a moment. Might have been a sign of what they want to do here on this set piece. Hilton whips in a dangerous ball, but Vitiello did really well to get there and timed it to perfection. And Tampa Bay only have 7 minutes left.
A great job in traffic by Vitiello, but go back to the set piece opportunity. About 25 yards out. Hit with pretty good intention by Lewis Hilton. Maybe overly curved to the outside of the post. None the wiser Danny Vitiello. He catches this one in the face on the far side.
He's not refereed this game in the second half at all.
More frustration you could hear from Neil Collins. And we apologize if any profanity comes over the air.
He took a smack across the face here.
Yeah, I think it was White who was the one here. This is the last sequence, and we got sandwiched in between right there.
It's a blatant foul. There's the bump by Velarde. There's the elbow. It looked to be Jordan Dover.
You could argue that Pittsburgh should have been given a yellow for that. Could have been either guy.
I'd be livid too if I'm Lawrence White. He got whacked here.
Yeah, re-enters the field of play. As Tampa still are in search of a lifeline. And of a first goal at Highmark this season. They still have not scored here in almost 2 full games. And you see there, last time Tampa Bay lost, you got to go back to July 31st. It's actually this same scoreline, lost by 2-0 to Mike Jeffries' Charlotte Independence.
Just struggled all night, haven't they, for an answer.
Football and football colliding there.
See what you did there.
Of course, the Steelers are at home this weekend, Heinz Field. Surprised we haven't seen any terrible towels out there tonight, but I'm sure they're all at the American Football Stadium, of course. And they did beat the Broncos as well, so it could be
win.
Double delight for Pittsburgh fans
nice win
today.
right there. All
It really
right.
is. Broncos are off to a good start this year.
All right, Three Rivers, Steel City. Not a bad little Sunday.
Riverhounds and Steelers winning together.
Home Depot, Bed Bath & Beyond. I don't know if we're going to have enough time.
Dequa. Four minutes to go. Can Pittsburgh wrap up the points here? Jordan Dover. Dequa in the middle. Ends up being nowhere near him in the end. Tampa have got to hurry. They got to get this rolling here.
It got pinned in the corner for a throw.
Hilton will get this further up the field for the Rowdies. Griffin does well to step in, and he's fouled by Guenzotti. Oh, Lewis Hilton is beside himself. You can briefly see it on the left side of your screen before we panned over. Tampa Bay's frustration very much so boiling over.
This is hard. When you're playing so well for so long, you feel like nothing, not one single thing introduced into your winning environment could knock you down. And that's not the case tonight, obviously. It's a great start for Pittsburgh Riverhounds in a game where the Rowdies just struggled to find any sort of fluidity in their play. Changed systems a couple of times, obviously rotated personnel. And yet the main problem for all of this was that they had to chase the game. They were chasing the tactics being thrown at them by Bob Lilly. For a long period of time, there was a real good idea, as probably a handball gets away with, what was being thrown at you. And yet still, even though the writing's on the wall, couldn't push it aside. I've been there, man. I know exactly what it feels like. There's just no magic, right? And it's definitely not all used up. This is still one of the best teams in the entire USL Championship, if not the best. They're going to have their say.
Foul there in Tampa Bay's favor. Dalgard, we haven't seen much of since he's come on. Draws the foul. Just under 2 minutes left of the 90 and some stoppage time as well. Hilton on this set piece, trying to give Tampa Bay a route back into this game. Hilton strikes another good ball. Vitiello had to backtrack there, and I think a foul is going to, again, away from the ball, alleviate the pressure that the Rowdies were applying.
Sean, one of the issues they've run into tonight is just unforced errors.
Yeah.
Giving it right back to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. It's the weird ball played out of the back, and then all of a sudden it's given away in one spot. They did it time and time again. Leo Fernandez trying to play out, okay, here you go. Happy to take that one away. They pinned themselves deep in their own half. Everything was right in front of them. I said to you, you got to execute when given the opportunity. It all came down to this. Jordan Scarlett. Very rarely do you see someone like Jordan Scarlett have a ball drop right into him that ends up not being pushed aside, squeaking through his legs into the path of an oncoming runner. That was the first one tonight. Season accuracy 80%, 69% right now. Talked about struggling for form and momentum. That's a pretty clear-cut picture of what's gone on tonight.
Guenzani over the top. Unable to get on the end of it. Harris trying to keep this possession alive for the Rowdies. Dixon picks it up and is tripped up. Wyke is going to be booked for that. Substitute enters the referee's book and gives a wry smile. We'll take another look.
His arguments, the first one of the night. Given the way this game has gone, a little smile and wave from Alex Dixon. There's the frustration we talked about for the Tampa Bay Rowdies boiling over. I wonder if there's any sort of late magic with the 3-minute mark thrown up on the board by the fourth official. Given the way the night has gone, you would say no, but tell you what, Hartford Battery, Loudoun, Miami, Louisville, and Sporting Kansas City too last night. If the last 24 hours has taught us anything, it's to not wander away, keep a watchful eye on the screen right now.
Just takes one chance, especially with a 2-goal advantage, to turn things around. Pittsburgh trying to do all they can to get this over the line and punch their ticket to the postseason. Dalgard tried to find Harris. Pittsburgh cleared it once, a little bit further up the field, and then Wharton makes sure. Laro's come well off his line here. He has to be very delicate there and just about found a teammate in the person of Jordan Doherty. 1.5 minutes to go. Hilton. Near side, Doherty. Just about able to get past Dixon. Good tackle by Jelani Peters. Quickly thrown back in by Dalgard. A header is central. Weed had to be quick. It's cleared out for a throw. Looks like one last change here for Pittsburgh. Luis Perez is going to come on. And another phenomenal performance is officially in the books for Alex Dixon tonight.
We were just discussing behind the scenes. Be your man of the match right there, right?
I think so.
He was really impressive tonight. I like Tommy Williamson up top. I thought Conrado Forbes was awesome. Alex Dixon, the role that they asked him to play, though. Deep on the right, high on the right, tucking inside, moving over to the left at the tail end of the game.
Maybe an honorable mention to Danny Vitiello with the penalty save.
Good shout.
In there as well.
I mean, this was a full team effort.
Yeah.
I mean, they were so good tonight. It's probably the best we've seen the Pittsburgh Riverhounds since earlier on this season, if not the best performance all season long. Given who they were playing, the run that they're on, I understand this game is at Highmark at home, but this Rowdies team, I said coming in, it's the best stretch that I've seen from any team in the championship in quite some time in terms of the overall quality of product that they brought to the field. And yet tonight, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds were tremendous.
Pittsburgh punches its ticket to the postseason, a 2-0 victory to end Tampa Bay's 9-game winning streak and 12-game unbeaten run. A really impressive 3 points. And the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, for a 4th consecutive year, are going to the postseason. And for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, it's just their 2nd multi-goal loss since 2019. The other was the loss to Charlotte earlier this season by the exact same scoreline you see tonight. The updated standings in the Atlantic Division: Tampa is already in, they've won the division, and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds are going back to the playoffs for a 4th straight year under Bob Lilly. Cicerone scored, Williamson did as well. Pittsburgh are back in the postseason. We'll wrap things up next from Highmark.
October is here, and so is the push to the playoffs for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. With tickets starting at just $18, you can cheer on the Hounds as they battle for home field advantage in the playoffs. The Riverhounds go head-to-head with the Charleston Battery, October 23rd in a 7 p.m. Saturday night showdown. Visit Riverhounds.com or talk to a ticket representative at 412-865-GOAL. Pleasant Valley Golf Club, nestled in the Laurel Highlands of southwestern Pennsylvania, is now open to the public. Enjoy 18 holes of championship golf with a new island green and fully stocked pro shop. Our clubhouse features a large ballroom for weddings or private parties, 2 restaurants serving delicious food, a sports bar, 2 state-of-the-art golf simulators, and an outdoor patio with gas fire pit and picturesque view. Pleasant Valley Golf Club, now open to the public. Just in time for the start of the 2021 season, we're offering Riverhounds Mini Flex Plans. Flex Plans are 6 vouchers to use any way you want over the 2021 season to catch the Hounds in action. Use them all for one game or spread them out through the season. With 3 different plans starting at $90, you can choose anywhere in Highmark Stadium to cheer on the Hounds. Visit Riverhounds.com or call 412-865-GOAL.
Pittsburgh defeats Tampa Bay by 2-0. And for the 4th consecutive season, the Riverhounds are going to the postseason. 2nd team in the Atlantic Division to punch their tickets to the playoffs. Full-time highlights here from Highmark Stadium. And Devin, we start in the 25th minute. A controversial moment where Tampa Bay thought they got it over the line.
We just can't see enough, and that's a problem here. Goals change games. Yeah, I get that saying, but this one could have really been the Kickstarter for the Tampa Bay Rowdies to get back in. Love the ball by Hilton. Fantastic execution by Forrest Lasso. And then for Steven Dos Santos, the former Riverhounds, to get his head on this, redirect it past the goalkeeper. Almost impossible to tell. You decide at home. Instead, we remain at 0-0. Let's fast forward to the goal, because the entire first half it had been these long balls up over the top that had plagued the Tampa Bay Rowdies. This one isn't as direct as we saw the other chances, but as it recycles for a second, Lady Luck, no fun here. Jordan Scarlett. The Tampa Bay Rowdies just gave away so many opportunities to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. This one is literally an opportunity right in front of goal. A lot of balls given away in terms of distribution coming off the back line. There would be a response. This is about a 7 to 10 minute window, start of the second half. Dos Santos taken down. Fernandez steps up. Vitiello pushing it aside. What a save this is by Danny Vitiello.
Came up trumps when Pittsburgh needed him most. The place was shaking, by the way, after he saved that. 73rd minute, Pittsburgh had a penalty, and up stepped Russell Cicerone after Dixon dazzled his way inside.
Dixon's so good, and there are few players who pull Forrest Lasso out of his comfort zone, and he was scrambling all night long. This one he takes down Dixon, and Russell Cicerone steps up to the spot, puts this into the back of the net for his 15th on the season. This was a perfect performance by the Pittsburgh Riverhounds from start to finish with the 2-0 victory. Hold their heads high. That's the best game of the season.
Tampa Bay already has won the division, and Devin Kerr, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, are now in the playoffs for the 4th straight season, and we'll wait to see if Charlotte and Miami can soon follow suit.
If you're watching around the USL Championship, you're not going to panic if you're a Tampa Bay Rowdies fan, or if you're just watching the game thinking, okay, is this a changing in the guard? That Tampa Bay Rowdies team is playing a game every 4 days. They played a game on Thursday night. They rotated a ton of players, came on the road, still put forth a quality effort, but it could not be trumped by Bob Lilly and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds tonight.
Great atmosphere at Highmark Stadium, hopefully a sign of what's to come in the playoffs, and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds will be part of those playoffs after a 2-0 win tonight in the Steel City. For Devin Kerr and our entire crew, I'm Sean St. Jacques saying so long from Pittsburgh. The Riverhounds win it by 2-0, and they're back in the postseason.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.